Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Chess, and today we will continue our SCP from random SCP review. We were reviewing SCP-5830 or SCP Ahtohallan, and this is the third part of this SCP, right? Just because, um, you know, as you can see over here, it just keeps scrolling, right? There's just so much information that we need to digest and kind of understand, right? But before we actually started, uh, before we actually start, I will actually there is some things that I want to say first. Um, like uh, obviously, like the more SCP there is now, it's most probably that the SCPs are actually derived from from real world, right? And here in this case, because I just wondering what Ahtohallan means, and and then there's this picture over here, right, which is basically a cave, an ice cave, right, or a frozen glacial cave, right? um Excuse me. So I googled the name Ahtohallan, and then I found out that the top search was about for the movie Frozen 2, right? If you guys remember Frozen series, the the Disney movie basically about Anna and Elsa, and then there's Olaf as well, and then there is uh, I forgot the name of the dude, but yeah. So basically, it's from the second movie or the Frozen 2, basically, and Atuhalan is basically a place where um I think Anna, right, or Elsa. I don't remember which one is which. Basically, the one that has the power of ice, right? The one that can manipulate ice. She was told to go to Atohalan, and there, it is some kind of memory, right? Like to remember her memory, like her past. And then in the movie, we know that water has memory, basically, the memory of water, basically. And it turns out that in the movie, she she saw lots of frozen stuff, right? Just the same as we saw, well, not really saw, like we know that there are many frozen SCPs inside these caves, right? So yeah, basically this SCP got its reference partially or fully. I don't think it's fully a reference to that. Maybe some, like the author or the creator of this page probably like try to uh like fix not really fix, more like change some stuff as well, right? So that it's not directly reference to that or the copy of that, right? But yeah, just knowing that it's from Frozen 2, then yeah, I guess it makes sense. Again, like I said, there's just so many SCPs out there, right? In this wiki, right? And one way or another, eventually people will run out of ideas, and then just kind of base or refer to things that are actually from the real world, right? And in this case, from the movie in real world, which is the movie Frozen 2, right? And it's kind of the same as well. And yeah, it's basically of like a memory, like like frozen water having memory, right? Like the memory of water, basically. Yeah, that's basically it. And now knowing that I know the reference, then I can actually digest or understand this SCP easily now, because I know what happened in the movie, right? Like we know that it's either Anna or Elsa got frozen, right? Got trapped into like, yeah, become frozen, right? And then the other sister uh managed to like unfroze, and then like unfreeze, I mean, or unfroze. But yeah, and that's basically the movie, right? And then the plot, like, the twist is basically in the memory of the water, right? That, like, the frozen, like, sculpture of people, right? Got frozen, and then basically it will tell the story, right? And I think this is also like that. So yeah, it's basically like museum, but this one is for SCPs, right? Like the SCP will kind of tell the story of itself, right? Like it's a memory of SCP basically. But the thing is that the one that can learn the frozen memory was actually Anna and Elsa, right? But here we didn't actually know who can actually unfreeze or unfroze all these SCP and learn their basic nature, right? Like so far we haven't really know just yet if anyone actually managed to unfreeze all this NCP. I'm not NCP, I mean SCP, and actually learn more about the SCP, right? Like the real origin or something like that. But yeah, okay. So the second thing that I want to mention is uh, because I learned that Ahtohallan is actually a thing uh, from the movie Frozen 2. Then I kinda search for the previous SCP that I actually review as well, that we reviewed together. It was the Jiangxi ring, right? Because in that video, in that episode, I thought that I kind of know that it's about Chinese vampire lore, right? Like it's a lore from China, basically, right? Like the vampire. And it's true actually. When I first searched the name Jiangxi, it's actually about a hopping vampire from China. Like it's a lore over there. Like a folklore or urban lore, or like something like that, right? Um, and yeah, then I was right. But the thing about that is because we actually randomly chose SCP, then um, we didn't actually know what the reference were from just yet, right? Because we rolled the dice, or we rolled the number, and then we got the number, then we got the SCP, right? And then we tried to learn if the SCP was reference from something, right? And then after that, and then after I finished recording, then I just search about if there is a similarity or reference from the SCP. And then yeah, just like that, which will make me a little bit difficult, because you guys might probably know, like uh, immediately know what the references were from, right? While I don't know everything, right? Like obviously, right? There is so much stuff in this world, right? So like not knowing the reference will be like difficulty for me, at least, so that I don't know what this is supposed to be, right? Like and for that I'm actually sorry, especially for the creator, if you create the SCPs and refer it from actual like lore, or something that is from our real world, then I'm sorry, because I couldn't get the reference sometimes. But I will try, right? Like this Ahtohallan, right? Maybe like some of you already know since part one, when watch the part one. Oh, Ahtohallan, it's from Frozen 2. Oh, how did you not know about this? Well, like I said, I don't know everything, and sometimes there's just too many information, right? And then um Frozen 2 itself came out in 2019, although I actually watched the movie, but like there's just so many other movies, right, that came out after that, and I just forgot about it, right? And then I when I first like heard or read the name Atolan, I don't know anything, right? But yeah, that's about it, I guess, for the intro. Let's just go into it. Also for the recap, Previously we finished reading these logs of its branches that has anomaly in itself, right? Like branches that doesn't appear to be the same as other branches, basically. And then we call that 5830-1. Dash 1 means it is branches that is different from usual like normal or most of the branches inside the cave, right? And then the 1 to 17 is the recorded cave number 1 to 17. Like basically there are at least 17 cave or branches that has this unusual or not the same as the other branches, right? Either it has dead ends or either it loop back to another branch, right? Which I will actually like the most because it just makes sense. Like it makes it even more cool. Like if you enter from this and then you go outside from this, right? So it's basically a loop, and inside that there's the SCP, right? Um, and yeah, the SCP or the copy or the duplicate of the SCP, right? Which is frozen in space and time, just like in Frozen 2, right? The objects or the people, whatever, like they are frozen, right? And then they are then called SCP-5830-2. Dash 2 means it's a duplicate of SCP. And then among these 17 branches, I think there's like 12 duplicates that is there. So yeah, either 12 or 10. I kind of forgot. Actually, let's take a look at first. Okay. I think it's over here somewhere, right? Okay. Is okay. What about this one? Okay, I didn't find it, but it's there, right? Okay. So yeah, now we are going to read the documents, because there are actually five documents, 5830-A, dash B, dash C, dash D, and dash E, right? So yeah, well, let's go from the dash A first. Document SCP-5830-A, navigation procedures. Okay, so this is basically a procedure to navigate the cave system, I guess. Okay, approved on something something 20, because Frozen 2 came out in 2019. I will just refer the year in 2019, right? By Dr. Wainwright, on file at site something, okay? We don't know what site it is, but it's 3 digit over here. If you can see it, there's like 3 squares. So it's like site um something hundred something something, right? Okay. Preparation. Direction sheets will be given to navigators by personnel following a request by a Foundation researcher to enter SCP-5830 with an allotted time to be spent in SCP-5830. Once given directions by the appropriate personnel, immediately note its length and sequence of turns. Commit the length to memory and say it aloud often if you must. Before departing, prepare a pack containing. Okay, so this is like the survival items, I guess, or the pack that needs to be carried, right, before entering. So the first one is no less than 3 days worth of food, water, and cooking fuel. Okay, so 3 days of food, water, and cooking fuel, right? So here, the first thing that I notice, it means that they will not be there probably no longer than 1 day, right? Because the 3 days worth of food, water, and cooking fuel, I think it's for like emergency, I believe, right? Like if something happened, then they have like about 3 days to survive, right? So yeah, at least 60 meter of coiled rope. So 60 meter of coiled rope. 60 meter is actually not that long. Um, if it is, if the purpose is to like carry the rope from the entrance going deep, that is not enough. But if it's for descending or ascending the cave, like if there is like the way going downward or going upward, then the rope 60-meter ropes seem fine, right? It will be fine, I guess. um a sleeping bag rated for at most 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, a sleeping bag rated for at most. Okay, so sleeping bag for sleeping, I guess, and then a tarp and four wooden stakes. Uh, Tarp and wooden stakes. When I read this, I remember back in my university, I joined the nature activist or something like that, where basically we do lots of nature activities, right? And then one of them being sleeping outside, right? Like sleeping in the wood, basically. And there we used our like raincoat, and then like used making our own wood, or not really wooden, but making our own stakes, right, from the edge of the raincoat. So hearing this tarp and four wooden stakes, because there are four, right, I guess it's for each corner, then I think this will be used for the tent, if I can guess. The reason why it's not tent, I guess it's because maybe the cave was too shallow at places, or just to prepare if there were no place, right? So they cannot build their tent, right? If um, part of the cave become very shallow and very short, like the ceiling is very short, right? So yeah, I guess there's that. Or it's used as blanket as well, or base of your sleeping bag, probably. Anyway, then no less than four emergency flares. Okay, it's normal stuff. Two full rolls of reflective tape. Reflective tape. I think this one is used to mark the way, probably because inside there are lots of branches, right? Branches of caves. Like when you enter, you will meet two branches, right? And then if you enter one of the two, you will then meet another two branches, right? And then if you enter one, you will meet more branches, right? So like the reflective tape is probably for determining or determining the which way we should go, right? It's probably right. I'm just guessing at this point. And then a pocket knife or similar multi-tool basic survival items, and then a progress log and writing implement. Yeah, like I guess this is like a book, I guess, and then writing implement is probably like pen or pencil or something like that, right? Things that can be used as writing as well as the paper itself, right? Okay, as well as the bag containing this, right? Probably like because there's prepare a pack, right? Um, to pack this, probably they will need like some kind of bag, right? But yeah, navigation. When navigating SCP-5830, always take care to note what directions you have taken and which one you have left to take. Okay. Personnel have died lost within SCP-5830 far too often due to improper record keeping, despite the best efforts of the Foundation to maintain a simple navigational infrastructure for its study. Okay, so I guess it also makes sense in real world as well. If you go to a forest, like doing a hiking, if you can ask for the map of the area, right? If they don't have, then try to like make your own map, probably, right? Like like just count how many steps you have taken to a certain direction, right? And then you mark that in your notebook or paper. So maybe like for each 5 steps, for every 5 steps you put one dash, right? And then the dash direction follow the compass, right? So you know where you're going, basically. Yeah, like that. It's like basic um like basic hiking in the wood, I guess. And then excuse me a second. Okay, so at each branch point, find the first letter of your direction. Find the first letter of your direction sheet, not struck or blackened out. First letter for of your direction sheet, not struck or blackened out. Call out this direction to those in your party, L for left or R for right, and proceed in that direction. Okay, so they're basically just just using sounds, right? But if you ask me, then actually they should actually use the tape. Oh, here we go. All branch points should have two strips of tape along some wall to identify the direction of the exit. Okay, so they just use the tape for which way is the exit, which way to go in, right? Um, which is okay, I guess. Um, you can actually get more creative with that, like cut the shape into something, right? Like I don't know, or even leave paper or something like that and stick it to the wall, or just place it near the entrance, right? Like I don't know, like waterproof paper or waterproof some kind of record or something like that, right? Like who entered this branch, who left, right? Like and stuff like that. But okay, this one's also fine, I guess. If you encounter an unmarked branch point, act in your own accord and mark the branch with your tape, okay? Probably like one strip for enter, two strips for exit, probably, right? I'm not sure about that. Once you have entered the next branch, strike the letter from your direction sheet and prepare to repeat the procedure again. This amounts to progressing one depth level into SCP-5830. The entrance is at depth 0. No amount of mental tracking of distance or altitude can assist in orienting oneself. Only the maintenance of the direction sheet and your depth along it can guarantee survival. Yes, but the thing is that you are not sure in the first place, right? If it will keep branching into twos, right? Like, what if it branches into three? Then what would you say? Like, left, right? What about the middle one, like M, right? Then you'll start improvising, right? So this procedure is not really that helpful, I would say, because again, like you don't know if the cave will continue to be in regulars, right? Like in two branches. What if it's like, what if there are five branches, right? Like five way. Which one will you take? Like left, and then middle, and then right, right? For the rightmost right. What if like there is six? Like what if there are six and then like two or three of them loops back to itself, right? So it will just make you feel more confused, right? So yeah, this is not that great, I guess, to only use the word left and right and using the letter L and R. But yeah, okay, I guess. um, okay, guarantee survival. Okay. Following the completion of the necessary research, most often at terminus, begin navigating using the tape markings at each branch point to exit 5830. Do not attempt to move between two different locations within 5830 without first exiting and re-entering the cavern. Do not attempt to move between two different locations within 5830 without first exiting and re-entering the cavern. Okay, so what it means is that once you enter a branch and then you meet another branch, right? Do not enter those branches just yet. Instead, go back to where you came from. Um, maybe it's to know if there are anomalous properties, like like the branch will change the branch, like like maybe the cave um like will mixed or randomize its caves, probably, right? To prevent that, which is great, honestly. It's actually great advice, great procedures. Before entering further branches, make sure you went out or you go out of your current branch, and see if it stays the same, right? If it is, then go back in and then start picking the branches, the next branches, right? Great idea, honestly. Yeah, it's great. Emergencies. If you have found yourself lost within SCP-5830, halt your exploration party and begin returning to the surface via the exit markings. Do not attempt to determine and or correct the point of error while within the cavern. If you have found yourself in a location without sufficient markings, do not attempt to navigate out by guesswork. Another great advice over here, great procedure. If like if you got carried out yourself, um, exploring the cave while you're still having many much time, if you run out of those tapes, do not proceed, right? Which is actually a great advice there. Instead, maybe just go outside and call it a day, right? And then come back again tomorrow or sometime in the future, right? Instead, drive a stake into the ground where you currently stand and tie a length of rope to it. Walk in some direction while holding the rope until you either A. arrive at exit markings, at which point you may proceed to escape 5830, or B. exhaust the rope. Backtrack along the rope and attempt a different path. Um, uh, okay. Okay, so from this, I guess I was wrong. The stake was used to stake the rope, and then you use the rope to navigate, right? Like I said earlier. But the thing is, 60 meters of rope for navigating cave, I will most certainly sure it will not be enough. So I don't know why it's 60 meters. Maybe it's a generic or general length of a bundle of rope, probably. But I don't know, 60 meters of rope will not be enough, to be honest. Like, um, yeah, it's just, I, I don't know, like, it's basically like six houses, right? Like, six house length, basically. If the house is in next to each other, right? Or if the house has like some spaces, like imagine a house with 20 meters length of lawn, right? And then basically you only walk for three house, right? Which is not that deep, honestly. So yeah, I'm not sure about 60 meters. Uh, to my opinion, at least it should have been at least 250 meters. Maybe it will get heavier because it's literally four times the weight of the 60 meters, right? Because 250 is about four times the 60 meters, right? So yeah, that might be a little bit too heavy. But then again, I don't know. I mean, you went in, you go in here, if I remember correctly, at least for like 20 people, I think. Maybe that's not it. I think that's the amount of guard, I think, not the amount of people at least that going in. uh I think there was seven, right? Like two researchers and then five, right? But I don't know, I'm not sure. Maybe I was wrong, but yeah, it's up there for sure. Because I read it yesterday. But yeah. Um, I would say here, instead of using the stake and rope, just call it a day. Basically, like you have exhausted your tapes or markings, then it's actually time to go out, right? Or instead, bring more markings. Like if you actually found like short branches, then you will run out of markings easily, right? So my advice here will be either adding more tapes or bring at least 250 meters of rope. But yeah, that's about it, I guess. If even after exhausting all escape routes within your rope's allowance, you are still unable to exit 5830. Oh, okay. So I think this one was supposed to be like going out. The rope was supposed to be for going out or escaping 5830, right? But then again, 60 meter will not bring you anywhere, to be honest. Like, um, I'm pretty much sure that the length of one branch will be more than 60 meters. So, that's like one depth, right? Going this depth, like, there will be like many depths, right? It won't be enough. Like, I don't know, like, uh, I don't know. I mean, um, yeah, like never. My advice will be never entering area with no without enough markings. So yeah, there's that at least. But okay, set up a small outpost to survive until location personnel are sent to find you and your party. In the event of injury or death, be sure to write as many details as possible about the event in your personal log. If you encounter any previously undocumented anomalous component of SCP-5830, including but not limited to an instance of -1 and -2, log its presence and location. Do not engage with any wildlife or other entities encountered in 5830. Um, if you encounter previously undocumented, including but not limited, okay, log its presence and location. Okay, so this is basically for the researcher probably. If they find or if they found something new, right? Basically just record it or just log it, right? Like write it on a log or something like that. And then as well as not engaging any animals basically, right? Or plants inside 5830, which is, yeah, I guess you never know what's gonna happen, right? Okay, so we are now at transcript 5830 p dash p, I mean, personal journal of Dr. Daniel Morehouse. um I will actually read page 37 and then we'll call it a day probably because it's already almost 30 minutes, I think. But yeah, June 15, 2019, Knudsen's gone off north to check logs from the weather station. I planned to join him, of course, but I couldn't deny my inner spelunker a chance like this. This glacial cave is quite large and doesn't seem to have been impacted too bad from the recent heat wave. A real treat. Okay. We've agreed to meet back up at the cave entrance tomorrow morning. Erika and Kupik have joined me as well, which is nice. Kupik's always been quiet, so maybe I'll get the chance to talk with him a bit more. He's lived in Tasilak his whole life and knows the land better than anyone. His English isn't great though, but who can blame him? Guys always got a stoic look to him too. And Erika, well, she's the polar opposite most of the time. Been quiet today though. Okay, it's actually um, your first red flag over here. If you know that your member of your party of the exploration don't feel well, you might actually want to delay or switch out members until they feel better and got replaced by someone else. Basically, this is also important when you're traveling to mountains. Um, just remember that you and your friends going hiking the mountain, you are all trying to have fun, you are all trying to appreciate the nature, right? If there's like some people in your like some of your friends don't actually feel like doing it, I guess kind of wait first and see if they have any problem, right? Maybe they were a little bit nervous, maybe they had like some kind of health condition probably. Go ask them, right? Usually here in my country anyway, the mountain area is high up above sea level, and because we are above sea level, like high up above sea level, therefore the atmosphere becomes a little bit thinner, and then the temperature drops, right? Like gradually, basically. Here, like some people actually will react differently. Like maybe some of them don't like cold. Maybe some of them, have like breathing problem, right? because again, when you're going up, the more higher you go, the air becomes thinner, and it will actually become difficult to breathe for some people, and therefore, if you like just some of your friend had that problem, at least ask them first, like what's going on, right? um, but yeah, maybe this guy are on mentally like unstable, probably, maybe like nervous, right? Because this is a new SCP that no one knows what's its nature, or why, the reason why it's there for the first time, right? So yeah, it's actually a bit warmer in here than I would have expected. Ice is a good insulator and all, but the warmth is almost unnatural. Might be due to geothermal activity. I'll ask Knudsen if Zuckerberg picked up on anything seismic. Um, Okay, so they have a problem over here, right? Inside the cave, normally cave will be like chill or cool, right? But here, it's glacial cave, but somehow it's a little bit warm inside, right? So something must have been going on, right, down there. So yeah, to be frank, I'm a bit disappointed I couldn't convince him to join us. Apparently, being ahead of schedule isn't enough to justify popping off into a cave for the day. To each his own. He insisted I enjoy the day. If Zuckerberg. Okay, so basically, Dr. Daniel. So Daniel was disappointed either Knudsen or Zackenberg. I think Zackenberg, right? Couldn't join, right? Okay. But all right, June 15, 2019. So that's still the same day, okay? Maybe the next page or something, right? But not really, since it's page 37. So I don't know why the date is the same, like June 15, 2019, and then this one 2019 as well. Maybe different year, but I doubt it, because literally they are talking about an exploration, right? So it couldn't have been like a year later, right? So okay, June 15, 2019, we've set up a small camp about a mile into the cave. We've run into three different forks in the tunnels along the way. Pretty strange actually, since a lot of the cave walls looks very similar. If you took photos of three different spots and told me two of them were the same, I'd probably believe it. I would have guessed some more variation in the caverns and such, but I can't say that these ice tubes aren't cool either. Okay, so that's the page 37. And unfortunately, that's all the time that I've got for this episode. The part 3, we will have, we will be forced to continue in the next part. Um, Judging from our progress, I think we will have part 10. If we actually reach part 10, I wouldn't be surprised, because this is actually very long SCP, which is interesting. I'm actually getting into it, honestly, like I'm getting interested. So yeah, I actually enjoyed this a lot. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the reading and then the discussion in between. Because it also gives more information about the SCP, right? Um, and it's not just like, oh, an SCP, oh, it does something, it kills people, and how to contain, store it in a locker box in containment fault inside something, right? Um, that's about it. So yeah, like that, it's a little bit boring for me at least. Oh, but this is like a lot of readings, right? Lots of information, a lot of details, specific details, and there's actually a story over here, right? Like we found journals over here. I'm actually interested into knowing this. Yeah, so far this is probably my favorite episode, my favorite SCP in this entire random SCP review. Out of 5 SCP, this one is actually the most interesting. And but yeah, we'll continue this in the part 4 in the next episode. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you again very, very soon. And see ya.